What's up, everybody? This is Colby Cheese, and I'm wanting to bring you guys a commentary here of a very high ELO game on Europe West. This particular match is around the 2000 ELO range currently, which is saying a lot since it is during the reset, or after the reset, which means these guys were even higher before that case. I don't actually know the names of these guys, but I've looked at the champions here, and I decided I want to actually follow around Nunu this game. It's not going to be one of my regular pro game commentaries. This is more of a champion commentary, and looks like we already have a little bit of silly mistake happening here with Zed getting caught in the mid lane. I think that Blitz grabbed him there and pulled him in for a kill, and that's unfortunate, but no matter. This should still be an okay game. That's not necessarily going to decide on the game for these guys. So Jungle Nunu is an interesting pick here. It's one of those champions that whenever you see it in the ban and pick screen, it can be either a jungler or a support. Generally, you're going to expect it to be a support. Either way, it's going to be a strong pick, especially against this team, since they do have two champions that rely a lot on auto attacks. So those snowballs are going to help out against Tristana and against Xin Zhao in a lot of the team fights. And I'm going to go ahead and speed it up here just a bit as we are waiting for the jungle to happen. But let's take a look at what he's got going on here. He's starting off with his consume, obviously. That's pretty standard for a Jungle Nunu. You're going to be consuming those minions and picking that up. And I'm guessing since he's starting at the red here, he wants to go for some early ganks potentially, or even maybe a little bit of counter jungle. I'm not quite sure exactly how he's going to do that. But either way, with Nunu, you can fairly easily start on that red buff and not worry too much about mana. The cool thing is that Nunu actually has a passive which allows him to get a free cast off after several auto attacks. And it's after 5 basic attacks, the next spell will cost no mana. And that pretty much means that Nunu can jungle without too much trouble. So he's already got the double buff here at 3 minutes. Pretty fast start. And from what I can tell, we're going to see a little bit of counter jungling already as he runs in here to the enemy race. And he's going to find Xin Zhao right away. He's able to take out the race, and he sees that he's kind of low, so he decides to go ahead and try and engage on that. And I'm not sure exactly how it's going to work out, but it does seem like he's going to win this trade overall. He does have double buff versus Xin Zhao, and this is really close. Unfortunately, he does actually die there, and Xin Zhao actually gets away with literally no HP at all. Like, all he needed was one more auto attack, so that's unfortunate. And he wasted his flash, so lost double buffs and trade for the race. He could have potentially just flashed over this wall and tried to walk away, but then he would have been running into Lux. So it's a little bit questionable as to whether or not that would have worked out for him. Either way, though, it was close. Seeing him at that low of an HP, I probably would have done the same, tried to go for the kill on him. And he's going to be okay. He's already back into his race and picking up the jungle. So let's pick up the pace here once again and see if we can watch him make up for that early mistake. They're already down by 3 kills. Red team's doing decent here in the early game, but overall they haven't taken any objectives yet, so they're not like super far ahead to the point where they're going to start snowballing or anything like that. He is level 4 now at 5 minutes, and that's after a little bit of mistakes there. And it looks like there's a bit of action happening here as they're going to be chasing down the Aurelia, and this is a good chance. Nice stun there is actually going to cause Xin Zhao to get stuck into the turret range, and that gives Smurf an easy pickup on the kill there, giving him the double buffs back. So overall, that pretty much sets him back in a good position. It does suck for Aurelia. Playing against a Darius like that is going to be a difficult situation, since Darius can really bully people out of the lane quite heavily if he gets ahead in that particular case. So Smurf is going to come up here, and he knows he's not going to sit there and trade all in with Captain, and I think Captain knows this as well. So what he does is he actually zones him away from experience a little bit, because Captain doesn't want to actually take damage from Nunu, since he's not going to kill Nunu, but if he does take damage from Nunu, that's going to allow Aurelia to possibly win a trade with him when he comes back. So it looks like Darius is actually backed off, and that's pretty smart for Darius. Smurf overall let him kind of freeze the lane just a bit. Looks like Aurelia's already taken a ton of damage from Team Captain, but I'm not worried about that. For now, we're going to watch this gank come in. Smurf saw that this gank happened in the mid, or not even a gank, it was just a 1v1 situation. And oh, this could be really bad. He took a lot of turret hits, but a snowball onto Xin Zhao is going to help him get away here, and that's going to slow his attack speed just enough, and I don't think he has his cooldown up. Yeah, it looks like he still had several seconds on his 3-talon strike and on his charge, so there was no way he could have continued to chase that Nunu down. So overall, it was a pretty good kill. He picked him up, trying to help out that mid lane as much as possible. So now he's at 2 kills for the team overall, just from picking up low health targets, and that's pretty much one of the better situations you can be in as a jungler, as you don't always get situations where you can gank very well, but if you pick up on kills that people kind of leave behind, you know, after a 1v1 engage, you can sometimes come in there and clean up the kills and stuff like that. So he just picked up a red buff once again, and he's going to come down here. This is going to be a really good situation. They don't have any wards, and he doesn't necessarily know that, but you just kind of have to make a prediction when you go in for ganks, as they were shoved in quite hard, and he's going to be chasing down that AD carry while they try and clean up this blitzcrank. And unfortunately, the Misfortune actually made a mistake of chasing him through the bush, and he runs in there with a flash and picks up the kill. It even forces Tarek to flash to pick up the kill, and I'm not sure if that was necessary. Tarek probably could have just waited for his cooldown to come up to stun him and walk up and do an auto attack for the finisher. But overall, there's the flash down, and Smurf didn't kill the AD carry. I didn't think he was going to, but it was a good attempt on his part either way. So let's go ahead and watch him come back up here. He's gonna try and look for a gank again onto this mid lane, and there it is. There's the engage from mid. And I think he's probably going to be able to kill him without too much help from Nunu. Nunu gets off 1 snowball, so he will get that assist. 159 extra gold. CNS House, she did have a couple of kills on our belt already. And so nice job overall there. And he's also going to be able to pick up this Darius. He's just doing a really, I guess he's just having a really nice lucky game of picking up kills that took place. And Aurelia didn't actually die there. She got really low, but she was able to make it out safely. So Nunu's already at 3 kills here. Sorry there. Let me just pause this for 1 second. All right, sorry about that. Had an important phone call to pause the game for, but nonetheless, here we are back in the game. And so Smurf is in a pretty good position since he was able to pick up several kills around the map. He's already got himself 2 gold per 10 items, or 3 gold per 10 items actually. And that's a very good start for a jungler, especially at only 10 minutes, having all 3 gold per 10s built up. Unfortunately, they are taking out that Heart of Gold next patch. And so we're not going to have that around for very long. And he even grabs another kill there. So pretty much from the engage on bottom, he's been in every single situation to clean up. And, you know, whether that's kind of part luck on his side or just knowing where to go, Smurf is, you know, pretty much either clairvoyant or whatever. But it's good. That's kind of what you have to do as jungler. You need to kind of assess situations in the various lanes whenever you're roaming around, and you need to decide, okay, where am I going to have the most success if I go to gank? I mean, do I need to put pressure on top or on bottom? A lot of times when I play as a jungler, I will try to decide on which lane has the most snowball potential, and I'll try and focus on them first, trying to get them ahead. And here we go. This is going to be kind of a scary situation. Looks like Devil Folly actually, wow, he actually got away with almost no HP at all. Smurf was sticking around in there to help out as much as he can, and he does actually pick up the kill onto Xin Zhao, and a missed binding from the Lux is not going to be able to stop Smurf. And Smurf actually goes back in now that her cooldowns are not up, and that's pretty much what you have to do against a Lux, is once she misses her cooldowns, she's got a really long time before those can hit again, and she misses her binding once again. It's really hard to hit skill shots at point blank range, and so she actually misses that one once again, and he pretty much just auto attacks her down with the red buff and Q slow. So a very good job, now sitting at 6 kills from a jungle Nunu. That's going to make him really strong this game. And you don't necessarily even need kills as Nunu to be really strong, but it obviously really does help out. As one of the big parts about Nunu is just the fact that his blood boil is going to give a very large amount of gold and buff to your AD carry, and so you kind of have like a double support thing going on. Misfortune is one of those champions that already has a speed boost built into her champion, but once you give her even more attack speed, she's just going to be blasting people away. And so when you follow up a Tarek stun into a slow from Nunu and then all that attack speed, she's just going to be able to melt people away, no problem. And right now Blue's in a decent position. They were down 3 kills early on, but now they're actually ahead. Smurf doing a good job of cleaning up kills around the map because of that. And he's already built up an Aegis of the Legion with 3 gold per 10, so he's getting lots of gold right now. In fact, let's take a look. He's at the highest amount of golds in the game of everyone by like a large amount, in fact. On the other hand, you see that the rest of his team is actually not too far ahead. They're pretty much even for the most part. And he is going to be coming around here. He just picked up a red buff, so it's going to make him very dangerous if he's able to get in there and lock somebody down. So he's looking for a situation. Let's see. They actually do not have any wards, but she came around to kind of look for him. And Zed's going to go in for the engage. He got in range for his ultimate. And the slow onto Lux is going to keep her slowed down just long enough for him to be able to clean this up with that ignite and one last Q. Smurf now going to be turning his attention to the Wen Xiao, and I don't think he's going to have too much trouble here. Devil Fell, he is going to be making his way out. He's actually a little bit low on energy, so it's going to be hard for him to actually follow up on this. But he sits here in the bush, and unfortunately, here comes the Darius. This is going to be a really scary situation. Smurf's going to sit here and auto attack as much as possible, and now getting out of there before the Darius gets in. That's actually a really nice escape. Let's see if Valley's actually going to fall here, and it looks like Darius continued to chase down. That's going to give them a chance to clean this up. Folly's actually juking this away. He actually used his ultimate clone to kind of juke it away, and he cleans up the kill onto Wen Xiao, who is really low on HP, and the Darius actually does get away regardless of the stun and the slow. They weren't able to clean that up, and Smurf comes in here trying to steal the race and puts himself in a little bit of a scary position. Lux missing her ultimate, not going to be able to clean him up, and look at this. Oh, will those passive ticks be able to clean him up? Looks like he just barely survives that, and so very lucky on his part getting out of that one. Unfortunately, Misfortune gets caught in a bad situation, so not quite in her good fortune there. So let's see. Right now he's building into, now he has the Boots of Mobility. That's actually not even built at 15 minutes. A lot of times junglers will build that a little bit earlier on so they can get those ganks in. But he was getting enough kills with just the rank 1 boots that it wasn't a huge deal. So in this situation here, he's going to be really, really good in team fights. Not only because of his buff and his ultimate. Now he's got his Aegis of the Legion, which is going to be giving that team-wide buff to everybody. The only thing I can see next is him getting possibly an Oracles. So they have pretty good map vision, and if they want to really control the map even further, he can just remove those wards, and his team's going to be able to roam around freely, especially as it's getting to the situation where they've got the mid-tower down. They just need to shove down a couple of the other turrets, and they're going to have a lot of map control before that 10 minutes. And wow, he just puts down a ward right in time to see that the red buff is low enough. He smites it out, stealing it from the Xin Zhao, and now he's going to continue chasing. Binding does land on the Smurf, but it's not going to put him in too bad of a situation. Folly goes in for an ulti, decides to back off as he doesn't want to put himself in a bad situation and get binded into the turret range. Smurf's not too concerned with Lux, as Lux did try to build some armor in order to counter out Zed, which makes her do really not much damage at all until later when she does potentially get some items. But for now, she's going to be really weak. Smurf now going to be using his ultimate to try and slow down Captain. Captain in a bad situation now, as he is going to be taken down with one last attack, and another juke from Aurelia allows her to get away from that Lux laser beam. Lux is just not having a good game this time, missing most of her skill shots and her ultimate. It's putting her in a bad spot. Let's go ahead and speed this up just a bit more, and we're going to see how Nunu decides to continue with this. Now, right now, Nunu really wants to get some kills for his team. Yes, he's getting fed, but he's not going to be able to carry the game as a jungler. All he can do is provide decent support and be fairly tanky, so it's going to be hard for the enemy team. But if the enemy team starts to get ahead and their carries don't get fed, then in team fights and in late game, it's not going to be a big deal that Nunu got all those kills. Nunu walked into the bush with a lot of people, and he will get shut down, finally giving a lot of gold to that Lux. And sorry about having it sped up there, but that's going to be fairly good for blue team. They actually trade 2 for 3, so they don't lose out too much, and they might be able to grab this dragon. I don't know if they're actually going to go for it. Yeah, it looks like they're going to back that away, and the only person here to stop that is Xin Zhao, so they probably could have gotten that, but I don't think they want to take any risk right now, so that's kind of, I mean, that's fair. They don't know necessarily if more people are going to come in time for them to be able to grab that, plus they don't have the smite, so Xin Zhao could have potentially got in there and stole that. So let's see, Nunu coming back up in here, now having a Glacial Shroud. He's going to have that reduced cooldowns, and as soon as he builds up the Frozen Heart, it's going to be very difficult for both Wen Zhao and for their AD carry to be able to do much in team fights, as he's going to slow their attack speed by a considerable amount. The snowball attack speed slow is extremely large, so you lay that on them and they can't attack for 60%, and then you're giving another same amount to your allies, and that's crazy. Of course, his Blood Boil is only at level 1 right now, so it's not a huge amount for team fights. And it's kind of interesting, he actually leveled up his Consume as his second ability rather than his Blood Boil, so he's not worried too much about giving that buff to people. He wants to just kind of carry fights and do fast jungling right now, and it's working out for him so far, but in team fights, they're going to wish they had that extra Blood Boil amount. Luckily, they're so far ahead right now, it's not really going to matter. And so, from what I can tell, they pretty much won this game, save for blue team making some bad decisions. Now, they're only 3,000 gold ahead. And that wasn't too bad. Lux is able to take the turret in mid and trade that for 2 kills and a dragon. And Darius is trying to shove that top lane as much as he can, but he won't be able to grab that turret before they get in there to stop him. And now this might actually be bad for Darius, as now he's going to get slowed from Aurelia, and he just needs to wait for the stun to come up. Looks like Lux is on the other side, missing another binding, but does get the slow off with her E, so that's going to allow him to get a little bit of distance away from that Aurelia. She might be able to get in there and get one dash off, but since he walks into the bush, he is going to be safe. Unfortunately, Lux is not on the receiving end of that luck, and Lux goes down from the continued slows of that Nunu. And this is going to give them a chance to get a Baron, so this is actually a really good situation for them to be in. And a ward goes down from the Blitzcrank. They obviously did see that, so they know he's on the other side. And they need to be careful not to lose this to Xin Zhao as he does come in. Aurelia goes in from behind, and she wants to try and stop him from getting that. And a nice stun is going to stop him from getting there for the smite, and they are able to clean him up very quickly. Darius tries to go in for the kill onto the Taric, but just cannot get enough damage off in time, and too many stuns cause him to go down very quickly. So blue team in a really good position so far now. Nunu with 7 kills, and he's just kind of sitting there. Now his 2 carries are getting quite fed, and that allows them to start winning the game on their own without the help of Nunu. So he did a good job of kind of holding it down until they were able to pick it up on their own, and Frozen Heart built up now with an Aegis is going to make him extremely tanky and hard to deal with for their very AD heavy team comp, especially with Lux not doing a lot of damage in these fights. Since she does have only a Nathane's Holy Grail, she's going to be going for a Zonya's next, I can only assume, but since it's 22 minutes in and they already have Baron, they have lots of health and armor and everything else, she's not going to be posing too much of a threat. Plus, she does continue to miss all of her skill shots. She actually missed all the creeps there and the champions. So her ultimate's down. They're going to be able to easily shove this in with no threat of resistance, especially since their AD carry is down here on the bottom. Tristana not anywhere to be found, and that's going to be a free inhibitor for them. They can't really engage this right now. And he pulls in Taric, which is not really the right target. Little Devil Faily is going to be going for a kill onto Darius, but Darius is kind of tanky. He's got a lot of armor, so that kind of stops him from getting insta-bursted there. Nice ulti from Pico is going to do a lot of damage, shutting down their, well, not shutting down, but killing their support, but they do have Folly get shut down as well. They're still in a decent position here, shoving this in. I think they should probably back right now, since they did lose that Zed, and it does seem that Smurf could have got caught here, but with enough slows, they can probably make it out. Captain actually might go down here. Lux is able to pick up Smurf in that situation, but with an exhaust up, that could be another kill for them if they get one more auto attack off, and there it is. There's the double kill for the Misfortune, and this is not too bad. Tristana coming in there now, and she might actually grab her own double kill, but Looks like he actually busts off in the opposite direction, so she's just going to grab one. Overall, blue team kind of stayed in a little bit too long. Yes, they did grab 2 extra kills there, but overall they lost 3 in the process. And generally, whenever you're ahead, giving kills to the enemy team allows them to come back much better than it allows you to snowball further. Especially since you weren't able to grab any more objectives in that situation. So red team's just gonna sit there and try and farm at their base. And this, I was about to say, this is gonna be an interesting situation if Blitzcrank were able to grab that, because he's only by himself and he does have Oracle, so he probably would have died there, as Tarek could have just stunned him, and then Misfortune would have followed up with all of her auto attack damage, since she already does have her core build set up with Bloodthirster and a Phantom Dancer. So right now, there's not much to watch for Nunu. Really, he's just going to be walking around and farming as much as possible as the jungler. And he's very support heavy. He's got an Aegis as well as a Shirelia's Reverie. So pretty much he's like a fed support at this point. And that's really what Jungle Nunu kind of turns into later on, is just a more itemized version of a support. And in this situation, he's actually beasting this Darius because of the fact that he has so much armor that he's able to sit there and do that. And Aurelia runs in there taking way too much damage, and Smurf is taking this turret like it's not even a big deal at all. I mean, he's got 210 armor here at only 25 minutes. That's a double kill for the Tarek. Looks like Tarek grabbing kills somehow, I don't know. But overall, that works out for them. They're able to take the turret down on the top lane, and an ulti from Misfortune will clean up the Lux. Nice job right at the end there, too, before she's able to get away. But either way, I think that she would have died to either Zed or Misfortune in the end. And they want to get this Oracle so bad, but it doesn't seem like they're going to be able to make that happen. It's no matter, though, as they do shove down another top turret with the help of Nunu and Misfortune, and that speed buff is just going to get better and better. He's starting to level that up. Final Blood Boil at level 4 now, and he left his Consume at level 4, knowing that he really didn't need that Consume for jungling any longer. So that's pretty smart on his part to start leveling that up as fast as he can. Alright, Nunu's in a situation right now where he wants to wait for them to use their disrupting abilities, and then he can go in for his ulti if it is up. Let's see, I think it is, yes. So his ulti is up. He wants to run in front of everyone, and he might actually go for that soon, but instead of actually using, there he goes. So he waited for the right opportunity to turn that on, kind of splitting up the enemy team, causing them to run in opposite directions to get away from that, and that gives them the advantage to actually win out on that fight there. So now they've taken down a second inhibitor, and they're pretty much in a situation where they're going to win this game. There's not much the Red can do. Tristana running in there. Nice knockback, actually, getting a 600 gold shutdown, as well as a double kill onto the Tarek. And then going to be turning her attention to the Zed. I don't know if she has enough to kill him. It's very likely that she can do this, actually. She does have a red buff. She needs one more auto attack. Oh, and he gets his cooldown up, but it is not enough, because she gets her leap as well. Let's see if Aurelia can actually jump in here in time. She doesn't know exactly where she went, so she's going to be searching for that. And she chose the wrong direction because she actually ran bottom. But Aurelia didn't know that. It was a 50-50 chance that she would choose the right direction to chase her. So good job by the Tristana getting away there. And that's going to help her getting a little bit stronger. Now that she has her core items built herself, that Infinity Edge and Phantom Dancer is actually stronger than these two core items. However, Misfortune is so fed right now, she's actually already got a Last Whisper and another BF sword. So even though this is generally stronger than what Misfortune was building, it's the fact that she's already so far ahead, it doesn't even matter anymore. Especially once you get that Nunu buff, that's even more attack speed for the Misfortune, and she's just going to beast mode any team fight that she goes into. Looks like Nunu was able to slay the dragon with the help of Aurelia. And I'm guessing he's going to try and build just a couple more items. He sold his gold per 10 and went for a full Abyssal Scepter. So he had enough money to build that outright. And that's going to help him out with tankiness versus that Lux. Since she is now starting to build a little bit of damage, she's got a Zonya's Hourglass. So she's not extremely dangerous just yet. She never did build a Death Cap. So she's not going to be able to, what the fuck, insta-pwn everybody. But either way, Nunu's not going to be concerned about that at all. And on the other hand, the rest of the team is very tanky also. 2,600 health from the Tarek. And even this Misfortune has enough survivability with her Bloodthirster to kind of deal with any kind of damage that happens. There goes the Lux Laser, just hitting the very tip of everybody. Kaltard goes down very fast as he's the only one in that pit versus all 5 of them. And they're going to be losing this Oracle most likely. A full ultimate from this Nunu is going to do tons of damage. And there we go, Aurelia is going to help clean this up. Let's see who actually grabs the kill. Yes, she will with that little dash. She does pick up the kill. Devil Folly picks up the Darius. And that's going to be enough for them to probably shove this in. They're going to clean up another inhibitor. And their wave in the mid is actually shoving in also. So this looks like the end of the game as far as I'm aware. I don't think they have much going for them at this point. And that's going to be GG. Lux cannot stop all 5 of these people from shoving their turrets in. They've got super creeps on the top. They've got the attack speed from Nunu, and that is a good game. So overall, hopefully you guys enjoyed this commentary of the Nunu jungle, and hopefully you learned something. Overall, it was a pretty good game for him, as he did just walk into a lot of situations where he did pick up kills, but that auto attack just was really beast mode and they couldn't do much about it. So thank you guys, and I'll see you around for the next one. This is skirmishes. Peace out.